Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Renfield, directed by Chris McKay from 2023. So yes, we are back once again, ready to discuss another Halloweenish film, and this time around Renfield. Now, this is a film that I saw a few weeks ago now, just before October, and yeah, I was intrigued to check this one out. I'd heard, not too much about this, but obviously Nick Cage and Nicolas Hoult, so I had to kind of check it out and see what it was like, and thought it would be a nice kind of film to watch, around this season. So yes, there will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk about this film because I will be kind of discussing a couple of things, plot points, and I won't want to kind of ruin the film for you before you've already seen it. So yes, with all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film. And yeah, this is the one that I kind of thought, I put it on, kind of get, a fairly standard but fun film with Nicolas Cage and Nicolas Hoult, and of course Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Finally kind of getting this something, be kind of wanting for many years, this kind of thing, and Nicolas Hoult as well. Of course as Renfield, the assistant, the very famous assistant familiar, and he's been, in literature since 1897 when the actual novel was, published, and he's been in many of the films. Renfield, quite an iconic character and quite a pivotal character to the story, and it's just been loads of the films, and seeing him in different films, varying kind of levels of kind of energy this character brings. But yeah, I thought Nicolas Cage as Dracula, Nicolas Hoult as Renfield, and this kind of looks like a silly kind of a fun just escapist film to watch around the Halloween period, and of course as a 2023 film, a film about Dracula played by Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Hoult as Renfield, is about narcissism, and it's actually not a very fun film at all. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, what a shame, really, in a nutshell. I watched this film, and the first kind of act, or the first couple of sequences, I thought, oh, this will be quite fun. It's a quite fun opening sequence, and seeing just the promise what the film could have brought. Escapist, fun, fairly well made at times. Kind of just filmed these two, actors. Love both of these actors, of course. And this film is not really about, Dracula too much, and or at least Nicolas Cage is barely in the film. And when he is, after the first sort of sequence, it's kind of sidelined, and I think just it's obviously about Nicolas Hoult, which is great, as Renfield, but the approach they take, to this film, it's just another one of those, kind of checklist films where, it's just what is the point, sometimes in watching, kind of a horror film like this, when you're just going to be getting, this kind of thing, and it wasn't really escapist. It was so modern, but not done in a kind of a clever way, a clever take really on this genre and these characters. It was just kind of lazy, I found. It became very clear that most of the film actually is about this cop played by Awkwafina, which could have, I thought would have probably been a side plot, to this film, but it actually kind of took over, and it was really the centre stage, of this traffic cop trying to bring about justice for a, late father, and basically, yeah, she's quite in this film. The character's very, aggressive and, on edge, and I found, unfortunately, this character to be very irritating, and just throughout most of the film, really. There's a couple of interactions with Nicolas Hoult that I thought were fine. Awkwafina, the chemistry had promise, but it was mostly just overshadowed by the character being very annoying and not likable, in this film, and just for the film to kind of just take over this whole kind of plot, over this Dracula and Renfield film, I thought it was really bizarre, and of course, after seeing the film, all the kind of problems I had with the film, I kind of thought it was my own fault, really, going into this film, and just expecting it to be, kind of a normal, fun, escapist film, because films, most of the time at the moment, the last few years, haven't really been like that. Where they have, they've not really been these big studio films. It's been more indie films that are just kind of more, telling a story with sincerity, and I just didn't find a sincere nature to this film, and it's really very annoying. A lot of the characters, not just this character Rebecca, this cop, but a lot of the characters were very annoying. Just one note, and they just seem like caricatures. A lot of the people, with Nicolas Hoult, in these sessions that he was having, Renfield, which I thought, could have been done well. It's an idea that I didn't necessarily need to see, in this film, but it could have been done well. The actual main leader of the group, I thought was actually quite funny at times, and some moments here and there that were not bad, but the way it kind of develops, is just very annoying and one note. And I think some of the characters here are just so annoying, irritating. And just I think most of the time I was just wanted to see Nicolas Cage again, because to put Nicolas Cage, Nick Cage and Nicholas Hoult, in a film together like this, it's kind of like a dream come true, really. And I think if it had been maybe 10 years earlier, and or maybe even 5 years earlier, it would have been a lot better, I feel. But seeing it now, it's just this whole kind of trend, this whole kind of of these studio films that are just not for me very escapist. They're not just kind of trying to be fun, entertaining. They've got so much stuff going on, and it seems like it's a checklist approach, and it's just all these different themes and stuff we're seeing in all these films that are just it's getting a bit tiring now, and it's just it seems like a lot of the films are the same in so many ways. Obviously, every single film ever made is different, in many ways, but it just seems like it's quite an annoying feeling where it really feels very, very tiring now. And I think obviously coming out last year, and I didn't get around to seeing this, but I wanted to just see this finally as a fun film with Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, and it's a Dracula film, and it's the pictures are kind of an action film. Obviously, it does have action throughout. It's mostly quite generic, unfortunately, and I think just the scenes in the kind of offices, with the cops and all this at the station, and all this, it is just very one note. Again, I wasn't entirely against seeing this kind of plot in the film, but it was just the way it was handled. It was just, first of all, too much screen time of the film to be focusing on this kind of side plot, really. It should have been, and I think just it was really one note and annoying, and just it's just on the nose throughout, really. And I think the balance of the film was way off, and the flow as well. It did feel quite drawn out in places, because I wasn't really engaged. That's one thing, but just I think the way we go from scene to scene really wasn't. It felt quite off. I've also got this kind of really quite annoying and boring kind of gang plot in the film, which is obviously linked to the kind of character of Rebecca, and it's all tied in. But I think this, it seems like at times the stuff I'm talking about here, it doesn't really seem like a Dracula film at all, and it's just kind of more cameo stuff from Nicolas Cage at times, which is such a sad thing to witness, and it wouldn't have happened really 10 years ago. We just had a fun little film with Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult, with this kind of stuff going on. Obviously different side plots, and it is in the modern setting, so that would have been in the film, but not like this, I don't feel. And it's just a real shame that we got this, and it was so underwhelming for me. It's not an awful film. It has things going for it, and there's definitely things to praise. I did enjoy throughout Nicholas Hoult. He's really good in the film, and despite the material not being enough really to kind of make his character too interesting in his interactions in the film, I think he did elevate this. And obviously Nicolas Cage, when he's on the screen, it's great, and it's a shame because it's more of a tease, and more of a kind of in your face, saying you can't quite get this. This is not actually the main film, and it's a shame because that is the marketing. Obviously that happens numerous times. It's not entirely a surprise, but it is a real shame that we have Nick Cage, Nicholas Hoult, and it's just such wasted potential here. I think when in the end they do kind of defeat Dracula, of course Rebecca and Renfield, it's just it's just such a stupid kind of sequence at times that I thought that's a real shame. And seeing Dracula being defeated there, and everything being all fine in the end, all his friends that were kind of killed by Dracula being resurrected, it felt such a bizarre way to end the film. And after seeing it, I thought it was just such a bizarre film overall. What a kind of waste of potential really for me. I just found it to be very underwhelming, quite a miserable experience to sit through this and to not see enough at all, of Nicolas Cage and this actual relationship between Dracula and Renfield. It's just obviously they kind of went for a different angle on paper. Fine, but it's just the execution of this was just way off. It doesn't feel once again sincere, and it is just focusing too much on different themes and plot elements, and it's just in the way it's handled. It really it's just very annoying to see, and it's just a massive trend. I find that we're seeing in the last few years. It seems like you can't really, most of the time with a studio film like this, just get an enjoyable, kind of normal film, with with Dracula and Renfield and Nicolas Cage, as Dracula. That's all I wanted, really. But yeah, of course, I didn't quite get that. So as for my rating, I give this film a 57%. It's again, it's well directed at times in the first act, and there's some things that are set up that I was kind of interested in the first act. Again, some performances that I did really enjoy, and I think Nicolas Cage when he's on screen is great. Nicolas Hoult as well is great in this film, and I just think he's got some music in there. It's really good. Marco Beltrami. So there's some things to praise, but just overall as an experience, it wasn't a nice one to sit through, and overall it fell short. And even though I kind of enjoyed moments of the film, overall it wasn't quite enough to say I liked the film and would watch it again. So that's my thoughts. I'm not a fan of these kinds of films, and just the annoying thing for me really is just the wasted potential. We won't get this again. It doesn't seem like Nicolas Cage and Nicolas Hoult together, and maybe never even seeing Nicolas Cage as Dracula again. So that's just, how sad is that really? And it's just in my opinion, this film being the only film for that, it's a shame. It really really is a shame. And moving on, again, this is just my thoughts on the film. What do you think? It'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film. How did you experience this? And what was your expectations for this, and how did it live up to the expectations for you? And as a Nicolas Cage film, obviously it's great to see more Nicolas Cage films coming out, that he's making. But it'd be great to discuss this and Nicolas Cage, of course, on the channel. And again, I do praise this film, but it's just overall not a film that I could say that I consistently enjoyed, and it's just a very underwhelming and frustrating experience for me personally. So it'd be great to hear your thoughts in the comments as always, and discuss different horror films during this month of Halloween. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.